that sense is being given to the people, places, and things of the present day.
Is that what we would sometimes refer to as projection?
That's
We're
right.
projecting onto somebody else something that somebody else did to us, and we're making them pay for it in some way
Right.
when they had nothing to do with it.
That's absolutely right.
You know, and this can be a very miserable way to live. And not only is that person in confusion, the person that suffered the trauma, but the other individual that might be involved in their lives, whether it's on a personal level, a spouse, you know, whether it is in a professional setting, an employer, can have tremendous difficulties in trying to cope with this kind of a situation. But I'm thinking right now about the person experiencing the trauma. These things happen unbidden. You know, they occur, they happen. And even when you're in the process of healing and restoration, they can still happen. Are there coping mechanisms that we can do when we're aware of what's taking place and this flood is beginning to, you know, rain down upon us and we feel ourselves drowning under it? How can we begin to get a grip back?
Sure. Even if, whether it's connected to a trauma from the past, if it is, then definitely this would apply. If it's like the airplane incident that I had mentioned before, then you can still use grounding techniques. So it doesn't have to necessarily be an event that was terribly traumatic from the past, but if a person finds themselves to be in a more overly emotional spot, using things that will get the person reconnected to the here and now will help them to get what we refer to as grounded. Some of those things would be bilateral stimulation, because if you use both sides of the body, then you use both sides of the brain, since one side of the brain controls the opposite side of the body and vice versa. So bilateral stimulation, which could be as simple as walking, going for a walk, or even marching in place if you're not able to leave wherever you are, that sort of thing. Working with clay can be really helpful, using both hands even if you're not able to walk, that sort of thing. Doing specifically left brain functions. Math is a great one. I know math is traumatizing for people sometimes. But
many people had traumatic experiences in math class.
That's right. That's
especially
right.
in Algebra 2.
That's right. Fortunately, it doesn't have to be complicated math. It doesn't have to be calculus. You can just make up long division problems. Something as simple as that. It doesn't, you know, there's no rhyme or reason to the numbers. There's no magical formula. You just make a long division problem and work it out, because when you do so, you're using the right side of, or I'm sorry, the logical side of your brain. So you're getting yourself reconnected to that place of logic and reason and back to the here and now.
Yeah, I'd like for you to share with us, because you had shared with me what you did when you were on that plane flight down here to the network. And the other day, Margaret shared with us that when she was flying into the network, about 10 minutes from landing, the pilot came on and expressed that there might be a problem. He didn't think it was going to be a big problem, but oh well, you know, something was the matter with the steering. And as you said, you know, the people on the plane might experience, you know, some of the emergency apparatus beginning to fall, which is usually the oxygen mask that nobody ever wants to see on a flight. And what did you do in that moment?
Well, first of all, I started to panic a little bit. I tightened my seatbelt a little bit and started looking around at the other.
What bodily sensations were you feeling?
Oh, that's right. Heart was starting to go a little bit, kind of starting to perspire. Things were starting to feel a little swirly. In my mind, I was picturing, Mayday, Mayday, you know, that sort of thing. I was noticing other passengers doing the same, tightening the seatbelt and looking at, you know, the person next to them might be the person they're spending their last moments with. Thank God it wasn't so, but in my mind I went to math, and I tried to do math, and I wasn't able to do math. I wasn't able to be that logical yet. So what I did was I forced myself, even just inside my own head, to name 3 objects that I saw above eye level, and then 3 objects I saw at eye level, and then 3 objects I could note below eye level. Another way to do that is to get yourself to note objects, 3 objects you see, and then 3 objects, or 3 things that you're hearing. You know, it could be the roar of the motor, or the baby crying, or the couple talking, that sort of thing. And then things that you can touch, 3 things you can touch. You know, the metal of the seatbelt and the plastic of the armrests and the upholstery on the seat, that sort of thing. And I just ran myself through those a few times, and then I was okay.
And why is that? Let's talk about what actually happens in the brain when we begin to employ such a strategy.
Well, what happens is you get yourself reconnected to the logical side of your brain, because it gets you back connected to the here and now, instead of the there and then of either past traumatic experiences or future panic things that that you're picturing in your brain, that traumas that you don't want to experience.
Well, as we were saying, it is such a useful tool to use, and I think it's a great way for parents to help children, for example, when children are experiencing something very frightening, something very out of control. And we know that in helping them to do that, we also are helping ourselves if we're in a similar situation. But it's really reclaiming, in a sense. It's really reclaiming ground that is quickly slipping away, or ground that has slipped away because of a past trauma. Well, we've got more to discuss. I'm glad that Margaret is going to be with us for the whole week. We're going to be talking tomorrow about the way in which trauma affects our relationships and what we can do to begin to mitigate that, and how we can find healing and hope in the midst of all of it. Well, Margaret, thank you for being with us. Father Ed, thanks for being with us. All of our resources are available for you right here on our website at www.womenofgrace.com. We also invite you to go out and give us a call, 1-800-558-5452. I do want you to ask our phone representatives there about our wonderful Women of Grace journal. It's also available for you on the website. We invite you to go out and take a look at that. Until we are together again, may the abundant life of Jesus Christ be yours, and may God richly bless you. Bye-bye now.